Wisdom, Solomon 3:10. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imagination, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. For whosoever despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain, their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring is cursed, wherefore blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which have not known a sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of souls. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than never. All right. To the 144,000, the judges, the would-be judges, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, who are the authorized government to set up here on earth to fulfill the Lord's prayer in earth as it is in heaven. All right. The tabernacle of David, the seed line, the bloodline, the brethren of Yahushua, who the world fraudulently and falsely calls Jesus Christ. The bloodline of Yahushua that is to be the new government over all people here on earth, the kingdom of heaven. As it tells you in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven coming down, a new heaven, a new earth, a new Jerusalem. All right, and to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. The Israelites are scattered among all people. All right, and the Lord is sending back his messengers, the angels, to gather them up from among all those people. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another brutal lesson in truth. And to declare that the Israelites have not been gathered yet. It is actually in the midst of happening. The people over in the land of Israel are complete jokes. All right. Amelak is in control of the world. Esau is in control of the world. And Amelak is at the top of that. Problem is that the rest of Esau is frustrated because Amelak has left them out and tried to hoard the Edomites' blessings unto them. The blessing that was to come to Esau, Amelak has tried to basically has coveted it and tried to keep it for themselves. All right. The gift of the creation of so-called whiteness is not enough anymore. All right. Because there's basically nothing left for them to be first in line for. All right. Because that's, why Amalek and his few Edomites that helped prop him up were made, stupid rich, and the rest of the Edomites got front of the line privilege. That was their gift of so-called whiteness. Well, there's nothing left for them to be in the front of the line for. So now they want more. Now they're beginning to see. All right. And as Esau Edom leans more and more on the destruction of his own people, along with trying to destroy the heathen, the people are angry. They're very mad. And they're beginning to see.
Don't stand with Israel.
Wait a minute. Salakia. I just had the damn video. Here it is.
Iran attacked me out of nowhere.
Oh, let's run that back.
America needs to go to war. Iran attacked me out of nowhere. America needs to go to war for me. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I don't want my children to die for Israel.
Stop crying. Their lives were promised to my people 2,000 years ago.
I don't want my children to die for Israel.
Do not be selfish. Your children will go to war for my people. It's time to step up. Our greatest ally, Israel, needs us. Send your sons. After all, they fund my paycheck. Iran attacked me out of nowhere.
Yeah. Now that was some AI generated cartoon that some Edomite put together, but it's kind of funny. But sadly it's extremely true. All right. And they can't hide that anymore. They really can't. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's go to one of my favorite scriptures, which is Isaiah 29:15. And it reads, "Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us?" All right, so they can't hide. And going back to that wisdom of Solomon, when I read it, 3 and I think I read 10 through 13. Yeah. Esau's hope is in vain, man, because the new kingdom of heaven is about to be set up by the actual Israelites and not Israelis. And the Israelites have been awakened, and the last day prophecies are playing out. I was at an alumni event with my classmates and some of my closest friends that I actually grew up with, that out of love, of my childhood memories and how close we were, I still, sometimes try to talk to them. And, a few of them, listen a little bit. And another one of them, and it's funny because he's now out there with my, where my sons are. Because, we were just chopping it up yesterday. And I guess his job has him out there, set up out there for about another year or so. So it's kind of cool because I try to get out there, every year to go spend some time with my family out there, and go see my seed and my extended seed. And now, one of my brothers, one of my childhood friends is out there. So I'm looking forward to, going out there and to go see my family. And then I get to, kick it with him. But I'm, and then I was really close to his brother who went to the spirit world. And I think that's what really shook it for him back when we were, younger. We weren't children when that happened. We were young adults, and he couldn't quite see, like, if God was, all loving God, or whatever, how Christians look at it, whatever. Why would he take Mark like that? And Mark was a so-called good one, but I understand, and wisdom is too wise for a fool, man. And he's just foolish. Because when I think about Mark, I think about Jonathan, because as much as I love, my bro, as much as I, if anybody is looking at it from a worldly stance, and this is how people look, they're not looking at things spiritually. And I'll get back on course. I know I kind of went off of subject a little bit, but looking at it from a worldly view, the way people look at it in the world, he should have been the one that died and not Mark. All right, he had more dirt on him than Mark, but he doesn't understand regeneration, reincarnation, or acknowledge it. All right, and how the Lord, will actually can love you and still punish you, man. Which is why it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And to consider that, you just consider the greatest one of all. That's Yahushua, who died a horrible death, and the Lord loved them dearly. And I consider the story of Jonathan. That really shook me when I first read it, because Jonathan was being righteous AF, as the kids say, all right, and he still died with his father, died with his brother, died with Saul, And how many times did he save David? All right, our beloved king. But then I understand that whatever the reasons that the Lord would, because the Lord is righteous. So Jonathan clearly died just through extrapolation from something he did in his past life. All right. That was a punishment that, and, you can't, like I said, wisdom is too high for a fool, man. So if he can't even, get the milk, and the truth be said, that is kind of milk, but, for Christianism, that's that could be over their head. But getting back on point, man, the world is on to Amelak. They really are. And they're starting to really be called out, which is why, you know, they're going to pull the plug on this whole internet thing. You know, you remember that interview with Jay Rockefeller in that one video that came out years ago by the what's his name now? I can't think. I can see Aaron Russo. All right. And how, you know, he said that the internet was the biggest mistake that they ever made. All right. Because a lot of things that were hid, books and information that just weren't known, you know, the information was always there. It just wasn't part of your curriculum. It wasn't a part of what you were taught in school. They made extra sure that kind of information stayed away from the classroom and from history courses, et cetera, et cetera. And through the internet now, you're able to get a hold to all that all that unadulterated, unauthorized information, you know, that you were not supposed to see or hear, which is why this internet has to be monitored and controlled. All right. And the truth of the matter is they really can't, which is why they're going to have to shut it down and reset and use digital means. All right. Which is a prophecy within itself. Revelation 13 chapter to control that. And that's what I was telling him yesterday, because he was like, yeah, you said all this stuff 10 years ago and we're still here, you know. And I said, but look how much it's happened and look at the world since then. And he just, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, wisdom is too high for a fool. But here we go.
You're going to love my next question, because the Israeli government has killed a record number of UN employees in Gaza. I think more UN personnel killed than in any other conflict since the creation of the United Nations. It's banned the Secretary General from coming into Israel. They said he's persona non grata. First time that's happened for decades. It's bombed UN peacekeepers in Lebanon, blocked UN aid, as we've discussed, from going into Gaza. What do you make of Israel's commitment to the UN? Why is it still allowed to be a UN member state when it's thumbing its nose at UN peacekeepers, killing UN personnel, blocking the UN Secretary General? You are a senior UN official. What do you make of Israel's relationship with the United Nations?
It's challenging right now. I mean, I have a dialogue with Israel. I spent 2 or 3 days there in Tel Aviv, spent time talking.
You're not persona non grata?
I don't know
yet.
I check the news. I check my email every day. In fact, I check Fox News most mornings to see whether it's been announced there or not. So that relationship is really difficult. And it was difficult when I visited, but we were looking to solve problems. We were looking at that stage to get trucks in and save lives during the ceasefire.
You're going to love my next question, because...
Wow. It is a joke. All right. And you understand why Anna feels like she feels. And, you know, and more, I really believe she's one of them speckled birds, man. This broad is the end up, man. Her mouth is too sharp. She got too much attitude. All right. Way too much attitude to be a thoroughbred Edomite woman. But here we go.
I don't want Israel to be a U.S. ally. I think Israel drags us down, drags us into wars we shouldn't be fighting on its behalf, attracts animosity and hostility toward the United States and our military.
True.
Israel's a pariah state for a reason.
The nations of the world are ready to go to war with America on the cause of the Israelis. And that's scriptural. All right. Is that Jeremiah 49? It's not 49. That's a good one. Well, I read it anyway. Jeremiah 49:10. And it reads, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Jumping back up to Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perish from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanishing? And it is, because they just keep doing things that are detrimental to their rulership, detrimental to their unions that keep them in power. All right? It really is.
And for any Israeli who's under this impression,
let's run that back.
I don't want Israel to be a U.S. ally. I think Israel drags us down, drags us into wars we shouldn't be fighting on its behalf, attracts animosity and hostility toward the United States and our military. Israel is a pariah state for a reason. And for any Israeli who's under this impression that they're special and they're loved internationally, you're not, and again, has nothing to do with the fact that you're Jewish. Lots of Jews all across the globe have been protesting Israel from the very beginning. It has everything to do with the fact that you guys like to slaughter people and steal land, and you think you're better than everyone else. You think that you're entitled to everything, including our tax dollars. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't want Israel.
And she's right. This is Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And Israel, parts of it were made desolate from Iran. And with the knowledge that Gaza sits in the land of Israel, Palestine, it is almost completely desolate, man. And then you look at the condition of the average Edomite in America, desolation and brokenness, hopelessness. They see no future. The children, and it's funny, like, I was out with at a client's house a couple of days back who just bought a multi-million-dollar mansion, but she's down with Amelak. She's a small hatter convert, and the average Edomite is far from living like her. Right? She even employs many. She's got servants and shit. That house is too big. She had children without a man, did in vitro. So, she works from home. Huge, big time. I'm not going to reveal too much about her. I've known this woman for almost 3 decades. She came to me as a client at 19. Now she's in her late 40s. With 2, small children. And she just had a donor for her. Which I'm pretty sure, especially that boy, her oldest one, that dude, he Amelak 100%. Rhythmless, saltless, funny looking, poor little thing. But it is what it is. And they're not living like the rest of Edom. She's living, high on the hog while they're struggling. And yet afraid. Because we had a lot of these conversations over the years, and now she sees it. And so a lot of them are worried, So, she thinks that her new security system and her high gates, I'm like, you in that gigantic ass house with all them glass windows all the way around it, glass doors at ground level. You can just kick it, break it, and step in. It's gonna get real bad when it gets bad, man. So, if the Lord is not with you when that time comes, yeah. And their hatred has really been shown, man. As a matter of fact, that brings this to mind. This is Luke 12:2. And it reads, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So there's nothing you can hide from the Lord, man. And everything about Esau, we're in exposure time. The least of the flock is drawing them out, and they have been found out, and they're being found out on a constant basis. All right. Now this one here, I'm gonna play this short. This is, it's a little old. It's a little over a month old, but the message still hits hard. I guess a month is really not that old, but here we go.
It was never about immigration. It was always about white supremacy. And President Trump just proved it. As soon as mostly white, wealthy farmers and hotel owners had their exploitative labor practices threatened, Trump flipped like that.
Yeah, because they did nothing for, Jake-owned farms, so-called black farms and brown farms. They, but the Edomite big ones, they're trying to help them and reverse some of the policy to get people back in.
Announcing today, Thursday, June 12th, that they will be making major changes to their immigration enforcement of farm workers and hotel and leisure workers.
Farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens.
And see, the hotel and leisure workers, man, the what do you call it? The tourism is being hurt so bad. Now these huge, hotel chains and, who have been big supporters of, of Trump's party, et cetera, et cetera. He's practically destroyed these people. All right. And it's creating a problem. So now they're trying to scramble to, fix shit.
But they've turned out to be, great. I have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels.
Cut to Stephen Miller dry heaving in the corner. How is MAGA going to react to this, y'all? It is very clear that the problem Trump created is getting out of control. And so now he's going to change course. He's attempting to make some kind of logical or economic argument about immigrant labor when he and his team have spent years making a racist argument about immigrants, telling the American people how dangerous immigrants are. And I don't know how.
Yeah, and this is true. He ran off that policy, and now, he's trying to backtrack in certain cases because some of his main support were the very people that was spoken about in this video. The wealthy farmers, the wealthier, the bigger hotel, hospitality businesses. All right, and that's really hurting, America, hurting their bottom line. So now you got people flip. You even got Elon Musk talking about starting a new party. All right. So it's not looking good, man. Not only is MAGA divided, but Esau is completely divided. Because you got Esau coming to terms that the show is over, man. All right. And Amelak is really being put on blast. Really being put on blast. Matter of fact, let's get that. This is Numbers 24:20. And it reads, "And when he looked on Amelak, he took up his parable and said, Amelak was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever." And he's the first of the nations. Why? Because, we just showed you how everybody's going to war and fighting and dying for them. And as a matter of fact, because that little short is kind of hilarious, man, but it's so damn true. It hits so hard. So we'll play it one more time.
Iran attacked me out of nowhere. America needs to go to war for me. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I don't want my children to die for Israel.
Stop crying. Their lives were promised to my people 2,000 years ago.
I don't want my children to die for Israel.
Do not be selfish. Your children will go to war for my people. It's time to step up. Our greatest ally, Israel, needs us. Send your sons. After all, they fund my paycheck.
Straight to the point. I'm sorry, that little short is hilarious and brutally true, man. All right. And I think I'm going to just name this video part 1. Because I really got some stuff lined up for part 2. I had to get these little ones out the way. But here, Anna, the N-Dub, the pale N-Dub being released again. Here we go.
Donald Trump is more than a disappointment. Donald Trump brings this country so much shame and embarrassment. What Trump is going to allow to happen to those poor, innocent people in Gaza and the West Bank disgusts me. But hey, you know what? Miriam Adelson's check cleared, right? You damn whore. $100 million, who cares how many lives get lost, how many people get slaughtered, how many homes get absolutely destroyed by an evil government with an even more evil military. Donald Trump is more than a disappointment. Donald Trump brings this country so much shame and embarrassment. What Trump is going to allow to happen to those poor, innocent people in Gaza and the West Bank disgusts me. But hey, you know what? Miriam Adelson's check cleared, right? You damn whore.
You damn whore. This woman is, she cracks me up, man. But this is Habakkuk 2:16, and it reads, "Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink that also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory." So shameful spewing is upon America's glory. I mean, you know, the evidences of the corruption, the hate, and the racism are ever being exposed, you know, and a system of racism, while allowing people to, especially when it comes to the so-called people of color, allowing people to peacefully protest, to make it look like they're trying to be progressive, you know, in racial equity. But all it really did was gave it the look so that they could, gave it the look of being progressive, and ensured that the system of Edomite superiority, of pale superiority, so-called whiteness, which is a made-up thing. Remember that Esau is really red. So we can say red Edomite superiority, not white Edomite superiority. There's no such thing as white people. They made that up. It's a complete social construct to stay in place and operate. Now that's what this was all about. To keep the, you know, so-called white superiority operating and in place, while giving the appearance of equity, or trying to strive for equity, all right, which is all a front. Okay, and it's all being exposed. All right. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash. And see you in the next lesson. Shalom. Abba, Babal.